Hey, welcome to Dating Advice for Men Who Love Women. This is going to be a little bit of an advanced class, but I get emails about this topic almost every single week, and I see guys make this mistake all the time. Plus, it's something that usually happens in the early stages of dating after you first meet a woman and you go on a few dates with her. So I want to cover it in this presentation so that you can eliminate this mistake and do a lot better with women because of that from this point forward. So, this might sound very simple, but it's actually very important when it comes to a long term relationship. So, if you're just having fun right now and going for hookups, the advice that I would give here is a little bit different. You still don't want to rush with the woman, like I talked about just a few weeks ago in another video. So, check that out if you haven't already. But here's the scenario that I want to talk about today. So let's say that you go on one really great date with a woman, or maybe you've gone out with her 2 or 3 times and you're really starting to like each other, or you've even been out 5 or 6 times already, but she's not quite all the way there yet in terms of her falling deeply in love with you all the way, and you're not her official boyfriend yet. And so this is something that happens in the early stages of dating. So let's say that you go on a date with a woman on like a Wednesday night and you both have a really great time, and it's pretty clear that you like each other a lot and your interest in her is really high. You really like her. And then let's say that you're leaving to go on a trip for 2 weeks or for a month or something, and you're leaving on Friday or Saturday. So you're having a date with her on Wednesday night. It's going great. You're both enjoying it. And then you're going to go out of town for 2 weeks on Friday or Saturday. Or she's going to go on a trip for 2 weeks or for a month on Friday or Saturday or Sunday even. Well, here's the thing. Even though you really like her, and maybe she even feels the same way, it's a mistake to try to force another date before you leave or before she leaves. And I get this question so often like, hey, I'm going to be gone for a while. Should I just go ahead and try to get another date before then, or should I just wait? Well, you should always wait. So if you've been around here for a while, then you know that after you have a really good date with the woman, you should wait a few days and then ask her out on your next date, not just ask her out again immediately. And the fact that you're going to leave for 2 weeks in a couple of days from now doesn't change that. It doesn't make it like, oh gosh, now I have to make sure she doesn't forget about me or something like that, because that's just driven by your interest level. Okay, so never try to kind of squeeze another date in just because she's leaving on a trip or you're leaving on a trip. What you want to do instead is just be honest about it without going overboard, kind of sharing too many feelings with her or anything like that, but just be totally honest with her. Like, hey, I really enjoyed spending time with you. I'm going out of town for 2 weeks, but I'll hit you up when I get back and we can hang out again. Or you can say something like, hey, I had a great time with you tonight. I definitely want to take you out again. I'm going on a trip for 2 weeks. I'll let you know when I get back. Now, here's the thing. Most of the time, you don't want to give away your plan for the future that you're going to ask her out again for sure. You don't want to give her that certainty. You want to let her wonder if you're going to ask her out again a little bit, because that's the kind of tension that allows her to fall deeply in love with you over time. She's kind of thinking and wondering about you while you're not even there. That's when she falls in love with you the most. So you want to give her that opportunity. And so normally you don't want to kind of give away your plan specifically. You don't want to say like, hey, I'll ask you out again next week. You're just going to wait and then ask her out again next week, right? But in this case, because you're going to be gone for 2 weeks or she's going to be gone for 2 weeks, that's a little bit too long. And so that's already kind of pushing her away in a way, even though you're not actually pushing her away in that push-pull dynamic, that push-pull balance that we want to have. 2 weeks is a long time to not have any contact, right? And so that's a big push away kind of subconsciously. And so what you want to do is pull her in a little bit by saying specifically and truthfully, I really enjoyed hanging out with you. I want to take you out again. I'm going on a trip for 2 weeks. I'll let you know when I get back and we can hang out then. It's totally a good thing and actually what you should do to let her know that in this case. And then when you get back from your trip or she gets back and she lets you know, then you can ask her out on the next date. So, in a scenario like that, where one of you is going on a trip for a couple of weeks or a month or something like that, and it's just a couple of days from now, don't try to squeeze in another date. Just wait until you get back or she gets back, and then ask her out at that point. Now, there is an exception to this, and that is she can make it urgent if she wants to. So let's say you go out with her on Wednesday night and you have a great time, and then you tell her, like, hey, I had so much fun with you tonight. I'd love to take you out again. I'm leaving on Sunday for 2 weeks. I'll let you know when I get back. And then she says, like, hey, that sounds really cool. That would be great. I'd like to see you again too. Do you think we can maybe hang out for a bit on Saturday afternoon before you go? If she asks you to hang out before you go at a specific time on a specific day, you should say yes unless you can't make it. And so it's okay for her to squeeze a date in because it's coming from her side and it's her idea. So that's fine. You can say yes to that. And if she kind of hints at hanging out before you go, if she's kind of making that play, then you can take the hint and ask her out. But unless she brings it up or asks you out specifically, you're not going to try to squeeze another date in. So she can do that if she wants, but it's not okay for us, just because of the way the dynamics works inside of her mind and how she feels about you. Okay, so you can take the hint from her, but you're not going to push it yourself. You're just going to wait till you get back and then ask her out on the next date and resume from there. And if she asks you to meet up again before you go and you actually can't because you have something going on, just tell her that. Like, hey, that would be really cool. I have this thing to do. Unfortunately, I can't do that, but I will definitely let you know when I get back and we'll hang out then. So you can do that too. But either way, you want to say yes if you can, if she directly asks you out before you go. But otherwise, again, you're not going to try to squeeze that in. Just let it play out. I think if guys understand how important time is with the woman, if you're going for a long-term relationship, you would realize that this is obviously the right thing to do because time is your greatest asset. The time in between dates is the most important time for how a woman feels about you, not when you're actually sitting across from her eating spaghetti. This is one of the biggest secrets to how to interact with a woman. Give her time and space away from you, then come back. Take a step forward, then a step back. Take a step forward, then a step back. And that step back, where she's kind of thinking and wondering about you, is where everything good for you happens. And if that causes her to make it urgent with you, you're going to say yes. You know, whenever she asks you out specifically, you're going to say yes unless she asks you to hang out today. And that brings us nicely to our last point of the day, which is on the other side of this, kind of when there's a time constraint and you're not squeezing a date in, and she can if she wants. On the other side of that, when you realize how important that is in terms of how much time can help you, you can use what's called a false time constraint. And this is where you're not really busy, but you act as if you have other things to do so that she can fall deeper in love with you instead of getting rid of you like she has with every other guy she's met so far. And if you've learned anything about like attraction and dating so far, you probably heard this term false time constraint. It kind of really got popular in like the PUA movement or whatever. And it is kind of a trick the way that they talk about it. So you have to be a little careful with it because you don't want her to realize that it's not a real time constraint. So you want to make it as real as you can, right? And so let's go back to our example of if a woman asks you out, you're going to say yes. But if she asks you to meet up with her today, the same day, you want to use a false time constraint so that she can fall deeper in love with you over time. You're going to allow that to happen. So if she asks you to hang out tonight and you're going for a long-term relationship and not just hookups, in that case, of course, you can go over to her house whenever she asks you to, of course. But if you're going for a long-term relationship and you want her to fall deeply in love with you, if she asks you to meet up today, you're going to use a false time constraint. No matter what you have going on in your life, even if you have nothing to do, you're just going to say, I'd love to meet up with you, but I'm busy tonight. Can we meet up tomorrow instead? or on Thursday instead, a couple days from now, whatever it is. You're going to give her a specific other day and time when you can meet up with her that's not today. And here's the thing about when you say, I'm busy, that's not very specific. And it's always true because you can be busy listening to music. You can be busy cleaning your room. You can even be busy playing video games. So you are going to be busy in some way. And so you don't want to lie. You just want to do the right thing so that her feelings for you can grow. So if she asks you to hang out today, you say, oh, I would love to see you. I'm busy today. Can we meet up tomorrow night? It's as simple as that. So instead of trying to squeeze dates in when there's a time constraint on you somehow, like you have a trip coming up, never, ever, ever, ever try to squeeze that extra date in. It's a mistake. And it's driven by your high interest and your fear of losing her. Whereas if you just wait and you let her know that you're going to go on that trip, and then you just resume when you get back, you're going to have a lot better results. And again, if she starts pushing it, that's great. That's what we want. We want it to be her idea, to be with you, to kiss you, to be your girlfriend, to fall in love with you, all of that stuff. We want it to be her idea if possible. And so it's great if that situation creates urgency in her and she pushes it. That's amazing. That's the spot we want to be in. But she doesn't have to. You can just pick it up when you get back or when she gets back. And so again, for the last time, whenever there's some kind of thing coming up where it's like, oh man, I better squeeze in a date before Christmas break or whatever it is. No, don't squeeze in an extra date. Just say, hey, I'm having a great time getting to know you. I'd love to hang out with you again. I'd love to take you out again or whatever. I'll let you know when I get back, or hit me up when you get back and we'll hang out again. That's it. So keep it simple and never try to fit in an extra date because of some kind of external time constraint. And on your side, sometimes strategically use a time constraint yourself to increase her feelings for you so you both get to enjoy that. And if you do want a woman to fall deeply in love with you and then stay deeply in love with you as long as you want to be with her, make sure you grab our best-selling Attract and Keep Her system if you haven't already, because inside the Attract and Keep Her system, we go over every single detail that you need to allow a woman to fall deeply in love with you instead of getting rid of you at some point, like she does with most guys she meets in her life. If you want to be the one to the woman who's the one for you, then go to attractandkeepher.com/system. That's attractandkeepher.com/system and get the Attract and Keep Her system right now. And of course, beyond all the other content on this YouTube channel, we also have a lot of other free content for you, including full free courses that are really great and get you good results. And of course, downloadable ebooks and all kinds of things like that. So if you're interested in any of our free books and courses, then just go to datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com, and you'll find all that stuff there. Or you can just click on the link in the description below or scan the QR code on the screen. And if you're not really looking for a relationship right now and you just want to have fun in a way that's great for both you and the women that you're dating, then make sure you grab our Good Guy Guide system right now if you haven't already. So inside the Good Guy Guide, we go over every single detail that you need to know to allow a woman to feel super attracted to you really quickly and super comfortable with you at the same time so that she's ready and willing to go back to your place or her place with you right now, and you both feel great about it still in the morning. So if that's kind of where you're at right now, then go to datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG. That's datingadviceformenwholovewomen.com/GGG. Or, of course, everything we just talked about is linked in the description below, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. So from now on, when you really like a woman and you have really strong feelings for her, don't allow that to cause you to make the mistake of trying to squeeze in an extra date when there's some kind of time constraint coming up. Do the opposite, and then you'll do a lot better.